Hey, what's up, guys? You may recognize this voice as Brodelli, who is a character that I had invented. Um, it actually started because a friend of mine, we were having a conversation on Facebook, and we were going like brosif, and we landed on Brodelli, and I told him that one day I'm gonna use that as a stage name, and I was messing with a lot of scammers at the time on Facebook, and one thing led to another, and I had to change my name, and that's the one I ended up with. And I've always wanted to have my own show, so I kind of just did this, and well, yeah, that part.
I hope you stay along for the ride. Anyways, let's go ahead and start the show.
That's actually a true fact. So I actually researched a lot more on the first episode and wrote it all out. It wasn't as improvised as some of the later episodes are.
588 miles.
The production value also, as far as the recording and stuff, wasn't as good as some of the other episodes. You'll notice like a difference between episodes because I'm using a different mic and all different types of stuff.
Mexico on its western nut, thus forming the full penis and balls of the United States. Today we're visiting a small but beautiful 2 miles on the ball sack of the United States called Indian Rocks Beach. Or as the locals know it, hey, do you want to go to the beach?
Okay, so actually I did improvise a little bit on this one, but I did write it for the most part.
But in reality, his shit was made a long time ago through tectonic plates. And
it also has a lot more facts than a lot of the other episodes. So, I mean, as you can see, as the show went on, a lot less was actually factual, but from time to time I do include a lot more actual research, and I always research the episodes, but sometimes I do it a lot more.
So there are many rules to visiting the beach you have to follow. I could pause the video right now and we could look at the sign.
I always like in the persona to pretend that I'm a criminal, so like I'll do like petty things like saying to pee in the ocean and stuff is legal, and I'm sure it is, but public urination I'm like almost 100% sure is a crime.
Rule number 2. No smoking on the beach. It's super windy. It's hard to light your joint. Just do it in your car, or maybe on a day it's not so windy on the beach. Rule number 3, leave nothing behind but your urine, your footsteps in the sand, and maybe a flip-flop by accident. Among the beachgoers is a diverse ecosystem of creatures. The beach lends itself as a sea.
I really liked this part right here where it does a transition.
Year-round to a number of aquatic birds, fish.
YouTube provides like free music and stuff to making videos, and that's pretty much all what I used. But it kind of really set the tone for the show, I think.
Cigarette butts a day from ashtrays at the local beach bars, and they could live to be 100 years.
Like some of these songs, like this one right now, is pretty iconic if you ask me if you're a fan of the show.
Granules by the pressure of the sea that made the very beach that we're visiting today. And wow, get a load of these fuckers. Don't see them too often, whatever the fuck they are.
When I first was filming these parts with the people in it, I was a little concerned about having actual people like that I didn't ask for permission to show in the videos, but with recording it on the VHS tapes and putting that effect, it really distorts a lot of people's faces and stuff, so I don't think I'm going to have any issues with it anyways, but, I mean, I even have people that I'm not even friends with anymore in these videos, like the person who is boogie boarding, I think it's called, in the portion of the video where I interview a local, supposedly, where it cuts out the audio. I was supposed to have some type of joke, but then when I took the audio out and I was going to dub over it, I thought it was just funnier just to leave it with no audio and just have him talking. But yeah, we had a falling out. I'm not exactly sure when. I don't really keep tabs on when when relationships end or anything with friends. I mean, I'm sure it's not that weird to do if you do, but I move on. And I always really liked the ending with me walking into the ocean. I started using that in the new intro because I just liked it so much. I thought it was a funny shot. Kind of like Godzilla was what my inspiration was, like the idea of returning to the sea.
I hope you continue to watch and stay tuned for more episodes. Because there's so many different places that I want to visit.
And I didn't quite use
and I hope you'll be along for the ride.
Theme song that people know, Stairway from Patrick Paleos, I think. It's a stock song on YouTube. This commercial actually is an Australian telecom company. I ripped that off of the Internet Archive, and this donut thing is from a stock video YouTuber who does like CGI and VHS tape type stuff. This second commercial, or I don't know, the solar part of the video, I guess you could say, because they're not really. I mean, it's a commercial from a Japanese product. It's like a screenshot portion of recorded VHS in Japan, and I didn't really have any custom-made commercials, and of course, and now you know, I really don't have that many commercials in the newer episodes. So when I filmed this episode on Ybor City at the IKEA, this is actually like my second time ever going to IKEA. I wasn't really sure where I was gonna go with this episode. It was kind of where I started to realize I could just make stuff up and satirize everything and just kind of embellish and lie to create a story and a narrative that doesn't really exist, because a lot of these places that I'm visiting sometimes are a little mundane.
And then annexed by Tampa in 1887. But before we can go and do that, I do have to stop at this combination Dunkin' Donuts 7-Eleven to take a pee. While stopping at the 7-Eleven, we realize we aren't the only ones at the gas station. 7-Elevens have a diverse ecosystem of birds that congregate in their parking lots for food.
Excuse me.
It would have been nice to take some time to visit the Dunkin' Donuts portion of the gas station, but we had no time to burn our balls with hot coffee. We needed to use the bathroom and get back on the road so we could make it to Ybor City in time. Out of the many things that Vicente Martinez Ybor built, who is the namesake of the city, Ybor City, his most prized building was the McDonald's. He said, "If you give the people some fucking burgers, yummy yummy, I love a good McDonald's burger, haha, they'll roll really good cigars." And that's what they did, making Ybor City home of the Cuban sandwich and also one of the oldest McDonald's in America, built in 1885.
That's not true. I mean, obviously, it's not true.
So after leaving the McDonald's, we went right to
I completely made that up off the top of my head based on the fact that when they put this McDonald's into Ybor City, the local citizens were a little concerned about the aesthetic of the area and the historical presence. So a lot of the fast food places that are in the area have modeled themselves after the historical cigars and casitas architecture that were originally in Ybor City.
IKEA has a massive parking lot that serves as the parking spaces for the customers.
I just thought it was funny they had a bunch of flags out front of the IKEA. I didn't know if there was any significance to them, but it just kind of reminded me of the United Nations, so I decided to make a joke about that. The parking lot is huge. It honestly looks like they could have a small army living inside of it.
So we decided to go directly to the cafe. It's really great. You just grab a tray,
and walk down and choose from many different delicious and cheap options. They have to keep it.
I'm honestly not sure how many people visit IKEA in a day, but I'm sure it might be close to 2,000. I don't think that's unreasonable in a large metropolitan area. You know, it's funny because this actually is true. It is delicious and pretty cheap. I got a lot of food when I was doing this episode.
IKEA is most known for their Swedish meatballs. Sweden being the main country of the five.
Oh, here we go. Is the iconic
Therefore,
Stairway by Patrick Pacalo, or I'm not sure. I really should credit him in the YouTube thing. I don't have to, but it really just set the tone for ending the show. You know, I kind of liked the idea of just, I mean, not every episode has that song at the end. But it was just really wavy. And a lot of the artists I collaborated after, you know, DeVasto House, Echo Computing, a lot of vaporwave style and vaporwave artists. Just based on the aesthetic of the show, it just really worked well.
After having a nice meal, Nathaniel and I proceeded deeper into the IKEA. The first oddity that I found was the Vincent van Gogh's rotten ear as a pillow. Being a fan of the morbid, I had to purchase it for my new bed that I was getting.
The bed I actually bought at IKEA that day did not last very long. It fell apart, and actually when I went to go set it up initially, I had a lot of issues with it. I ended up getting some of those cookies we're looking at in this part of the video. They're really, really good. And that is the first episode of This Is the Cinema. I'm Paul Karukin. Goodbye.
I have to go now, but always remember, all roads lead back to IKEA.